This is BBC Radio 6 Music.
BBC Radio 6 Music.
6 Music.
Tonight from 9, Tom Ravenscroft.
BBC Radio 6 Music.
At 7, Robert Smith. Right now, it's Steve Lamacq, live from Meltdown Festival.
It's The Cure from their very early days, from 1979, The Cure and Boys Don't Cry, and there's more Cure to come later in today's show. To mark Robert Smith's tenure as curator of this year's Meltdown Festival on the Southbank in London, which is where we are today, on the balcony here of the Southbank Centre at the Royal Festival Hall this afternoon. We'll be joined before 7 o'clock by, a variety of guests, people who are appearing at the festival. Psychedelic Furs will be coming by a little bit later. They're headlining the opening nights tonight. Plus various other folk who'll be playing here. Catherine Joseph, you'll be hearing from her later, and the Anchoress playing live as Meltdown turns 25 this year, as you'll hear, courtesy of a selection of former curators after this from Teleman.
When I was asked to curate Meltdown this year, I was deliriously happy. It's like a dream come true, because it means I get to pick all my favourite bands in the whole world, get them all together in one place, and I get to see them all. What could be better?
When I found out that I was going to be asked to do the Meltdown, I remember it very clearly. I was in the kitchen of my sister up in Sheffield, and I was very, very excited. I might have maybe made a few whooping sounds and stuff like that. Because I knew about Meltdown. I'd been involved in Nick Cave's Meltdown that was in 1999. So I know it was a great thing, and that you could invite all your heroes. One thing I was pleased with was the first band that played in the newly refurbished Royal Festival Hall were Motorhead. And I thought that was great, that, one of the reasons they refurbished it was to deal with the sound issues. I thought, well, if you really want to test that out, get Motorhead in, and you're going to find out a lot about the acoustic properties of that room.
It's an extraordinary thing. I mean, it's a really nice thing that they do, and the kind of people that they invite to curate are it's a really interesting spectrum, and you're going to get something very unusual from all these different people that they ask. So, yeah, I thought, this will be fun.
I thought about it quite a while and then decided to do people who really just can't shut up. People who just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. So it's kind of talking festival. It's a really wild combination of, maybe 20 different artists.
It is a great honour, and I was really, really proud, because it's got such a great heritage. And it's been loads of fun to do. There's a team of enthusiastic, artistic people at the Southbank who say, what do you want to do? And I went through my phone book, got my mates and said, hey, do you want an orchestra? Do you want a choir? Do you want some dancers?
Yeah, it was a pretty amazing moment. I didn't really see it coming, to be honest. My life has been sort of dedicated to the love of music, and to be doing this is amazing. And yes, with all the influences and all of the things that have inspired you and are inspiring you, and hopefully working with people that maybe you've inspired and all of that kind of stuff is pretty mad. When I got offered it, of course you're like, wow, amazing, of course, great, right. And then the reality 3 months later, sort of putting it together, is it's not an easy feat.
It was easy in some respects, easier than I thought, because everyone said yes straight away, and once the more well-known artists were on board, it was dead easy just to get other people to join in, because I would say, by the way, My Bloody Valentine and 9 Inch Nails and Deftones and Placebo, they were playing, the Manics are playing, and I'd just drop in names, and people would say, yeah, great, can we play? So in fact I had more than, I could have done another 10 days, to be honest, with the number of people that suddenly turned up claiming to love The Cure and wanted to be part of the Meltdown Festival. Although I believe all of them, who wouldn't love The Cure?
Even now in heaven there were angels carrying savage weapons.
UNKLE. UNKLE, Zypher and I, James Lavelle, from UNKLE, one of the former curators of the Meltdown Festival. In fact, did his turn in 2014. One of the curators you just heard from, in fact, in order, Robert Smith, Jarvis Cocker, who picked the bands in 2007, then David Byrne, Laurie Anderson, our own Guy Garvey, who was curator of Meltdown in 2016, then James Lavelle, and then another word from this year's curator, Mr. Robert Smith.
What an arena, what an occasion. The stars are out and ready to shine.
Yeah, yeah, hey. Whoa, yeah, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Here we are on the balcony of the Royal Festival Hall for the launch of Meltdown. That's from M.I.A, one of the previous curators of Meltdown. Was in charge of the artists here last year. The likes of Giggs, Soulwax, Young Fathers and Crystal Castles all played last year. It's M.I.A and that was Galang, and more on the history of Meltdown and the thinking behind it, I suppose, from our first guest, the Southbank Centre's Director of Music, Gillian Moore, and Senior Contemporary Music Programmer, Bengi Ünsal, join us. I don't suppose there's much more you can do, apart from making sure everyone turns up on time and the PA doesn't break down. There's pretty much now else you can do for Meltdown this year, is there? Or are you always slightly on edge, just in case something goes wrong?
No, we're not. We have a very experienced team here. I think everything will be fine, hopefully.
There's just a kind of buzz in the air when you see people arriving. That's really exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose particularly on the first day as well, because it's real then, isn't it?
Exactly. You think, here we are, it's happening, and it's a brilliant feeling. It's really exciting.
How important is Meltdown in the general, the overall calendar of what the Southbank Centre features in terms of music during the year? How important is Meltdown?
Yeah, it's a real high point in our music programming, and this year more than ever, because it's the 25th anniversary, of course. It's really, I think, putting front and centre the idea of contemporary music being really important at Southbank Centre across all our venues and the whole site, and also the idea that the artist, because this place has always been about bringing artists together with people, so the artist is really very explicitly at the centre of Meltdown, and that again is a really important message. You know, you see the personality of an artist throughout their festival, and every year is completely different.
So it's about providing a place for expression as much as anything else, then, in a strange way, I suppose. For the musician, at least, they don't get this freedom other places.
Yeah, exactly, because there's so much you can do in a space like this, with all these venues, with the outdoor spaces, and also all the artists that are associated. You know, some Meltdown directors from the past have wanted to explore ideas through talks and debates as well as music. Others have wanted to bring in orchestras, because we've got orchestras here. Yeah. Others have really just wanted to invite their address book, which is, you know, a really important element of it as well.
Bengi, you worked with M.I.A, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Last year. I suppose, and then with Robert again this year, are there points where you think, do you know what, I didn't think they liked them? That's a surprise. I never would have thought M.I.A would have booked so-and-so. Because I imagine they come to you with all sorts of curveballs.
Yeah, they do, but I wasn't surprised by their choices, but more of how they looked at the concept of Meltdown or the array of artists they come up with is sometimes surprising and nice to see. But I expected from them, this is what I expected from them, like a large pool of artists and different ideas.
Yeah. So what's it like being this year working with Robert? I don't know where you start with a massive blank sheet of paper and then you start with the headliners and work down. I don't know how it works.
It depends on the curator, I think, each year. Last year, M.I.A was like 100% artists. She had many ideas, and it was a completely different experience with her. It was like back and forth ideas coming from each ways. But with Robert, he knew what he wanted as his festival. So he basically came up to me with a wish list and said, can we do this? And I said, yes, we can, definitely. Definitely we can. And we did a lot on emails, to be honest with you. It's like back and forth for like about 6 months.
Really?
Yeah.
And is there any truth in the rumour he wanted the Rolling Stones?
It is definitely correct.
Right.
It was the Rolling Stones was the first band that we sent an invitation letter to.
Right. I bet they probably looked at the ticket price and thought, too low for us.
Well, they were nice actually. They said, yeah, let's see what happens later on in the year, but they kindly said no.
But I suppose the job for you then is to sort of mould it all together so that it makes sense across the festival.
Yes, kind of. I try to look at the music, the audiences, and also just so that it makes sense as a festival as a whole. It's not just a concert, but with all of the stuff happening around it. We have lots of free events happening throughout each year. For instance, M.I.A had a mala happening last year at the Riverside Terrace, and we had a carnival going on, and she had art as well. So it was, and this year Robert had many ideas. It's basically managing him and talking to the artists and trying to come up with a whole of the festival.
Yeah. But I suppose this is what the whole idea of the Southbank and the things which you put on here. It's just putting music and art into a sort of context for people. It's shaping evenings that explain and invite people in.
Exactly, and I think that was the whole idea of Meltdown in the first place. I'm old enough and been here long enough to have actually been around for the very first Meltdown in 1993, which was the composer George Benjamin who put together a festival which was, his preoccupations, but also throughout the years the artists have been able to devise ways in which people can really engage on different levels. So I'm remembering things like, for example, Morrissey's Meltdown, where we had a radio studio where young people from local schools were a bit like the setup here at Six Music on the balcony. They had their own radio station for the whole week. With Robert Wyatt, he founded a university of Meltdown for his Meltdown, and there was students coming in and learning about the music. He was giving lectures and that sort of thing. James Lavelle was all about young people producing. So each curator, each director of Meltdown has a different idea for how to really exploit the possibilities of the Southbank Centre and the way we do things here.
Yeah, bringing in different audiences, I think that's important as well.
Exactly. I'm really looking forward, for example, to next weekend, the final Saturday, when there's going to be a big busk outside here on the terrace. We've done that here before several times. I remember years ago Billy Bragg doing a big busk, and I remember Bryn Tervel, the wonderful opera singer, doing a big sing-along. It's the kind of site right by the river that really lends itself to mass congregation, and you can really celebrate that in Meltdown, especially because it's in the summer, of course, and hopefully we'll get nice weather.
we do have one of this year's buskers joining us later on in the programme as it goes. Just very quickly as well, talking about bringing in younger people and younger audiences and different sorts of music. You also specialise in doing quite a lot of new music at Southbank Centre, particularly as part of Robert's tenure as curator. He's embracing the idea of a night which is called Curate. What is it? It's Concrete Lates. Concrete Lates. What's Concrete Lates?
Concrete Lates is our monthly electronic music events, actually, but we are going to have 3 of them during Meltdown because they're going to be Meltdown specials. It's a late night event that we do at the Queen Elizabeth Hall foyer. So we start at 10:30 and go until 2 a.m. and we dance and celebrate the end of the night, end of the day at Meltdown, basically. So tonight we have Kiasmos DJ set. Tomorrow we have Vessels live and DJ set. And on the 23rd we have Eat Static playing. So I would recommend people to come here and dance and celebrate with us.
Well, we'll play one of those artists you just mentioned. Thank you very much for joining us.
May I just add? I'm sorry. We also have on Sundays, both weekends, we will have a free stage near the Riverside stage, and it will be free, and it will be the young talent who will be going on stage between 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. like Skinny Girl Diet or Kite Bass will be playing, and Pumarosa will actually be headlining and closing the night.
Oh, that's amazing. And that's which Sunday? This Sunday?
This Sunday and next Sunday.
And the following Sunday.
Yeah.
So if you happen to be in the area and it's a nice day, bring yourself down to Meltdown. There's lots, obviously, to see and hear, some of it for free. This is by Vessels, then, who are playing as part of Meltdown 2018. It's Vessels on Six Music. Vessels, then Vessels, who play Meltdown tomorrow night. Robert Smith will talk you through some of the acts, some of the artists who are playing at this year's Meltdown when he sits in for Iggy Pop tonight at 7 o'clock. But they're, playing as part of one of the Concrete Late Nights tomorrow, Vessels on Six Music, and that was PantherTek, and we'll be back with more after this news.
BBC Radio.
BBC Radio.
6 Music.
Orbital from their forthcoming album, which is out in September, and that was called Tiny Foldable Cities. Before that, Placebo, who play here tomorrow as part of the Meltdown Festival. Placebo and Teenage Angst. We are at the Southbank Centre today with live music coming up next from another of the artists appearing here at the request of Robert Smith, who's this year's Meltdown curator, the Anchoress. Hello. We are having one or two little technical difficulties with some headphones. I'm going to keep waving at you, Catherine, but Catherine's not hearing us. I'll tell you what we might do. Let's play a track and then we'll come back to the live music here. No, Catherine's run across the balcony from behind the keyboard player from behind the keyboard to join us. Hello.
I should be in the Olympics, shouldn't I?
Wow, live, that was a good sprint. It was a good sprint. Well, we'll try and sort your cans out while we're doing this. So it must have been a nice call to get though. Do you want to do the Meltdown Festival? Robert's been on the phone. Do you fancy it?
It was actually a lovely handwritten letter.
Was it a letter he wrote?
It was.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, who does that? It was one of those moments where I was a bit like, is this actually happening? Yeah. Robert Smith just sent me a letter. Wow, it's just, and I'm keeping it, and no one is ever going to see that.
That's nice. You're no stranger to the Southbank Centre, though, are you? Because you used to be, was that not, you were an artist in residence here at one point?
I actually started out everything here. When I was at university, I was lucky enough to be asked to be one of their emerging artists in residence, which meant I got to do some pretty cool stuff. Like I worked with Nitin Sawhney, I worked with the London Philharmonic and got to orchestrate with them and actually performed on the Royal Festival Hall stage, which is where I'm going to be playing next Tuesday. Yeah. So it's a bit of a full circle for me, really.
Yeah. So, I mean, that must have been an amazing experience as well, because I imagine you can, well, as I was saying earlier on, it's in terms of being able to create an experiment, this is probably as good a place to do it as any, isn't it?
It was incredible. I mean, for someone like me who comes from an orchestral background, I started out playing flute in youth orchestras when I was 8 years old. It kind of seemed like a really natural home for me, and I met some great people here, like Riz Ahmed and Nitin Sawhney as well. So I got to work with people from sort of all different kind of genres of music, which is a fabulous experience, really.
And also, I imagine, because as you say, you're playing next week, but the room itself, you know, some rooms just suit your music, I think. Do you feel that when you walk into a room and you think we're playing in here tonight? There must be certain places where you think, this is us.
I do like people to sit down and shut up, yeah.
Just in terms of the atmosphere, I think sometimes.
Yeah, and the acoustics are beautiful in there as well. Another place that we played at the end of last year, King's Place, which is now the home of a certain broadsheet newspaper, is also another beautiful room as well. And you know, I'm a bit of a sound geek, so I really appreciate great acoustics in a room.
Yeah. And you're here obviously with the Manic Street Preachers, whose album you appear on. You've been very busy, haven't you, over the past year or so?
I have been incredibly busy. It was such an honour to be asked to, you know, I'm a huge Manics fan. I started out just adoring the Manics, following them round, wearing leopard print and deciding that maybe I could go to university because of this band. So to be asked to duet on their record was just another one of those moments where you think, is this really happening? And yeah, it's amazing. It's been a great year.
And you're on tour with Simple Minds as well, soon, part of the Simple Minds gang. And I imagine being on tour with them, they're quite nice, convivial fellas, I imagine, to tour with.
They're a lovely bunch of people, yeah. All the Celts. I just stick with the Celts, basically. That's my rule for music. Don't make music with anyone that isn't Welsh or Scottish.
And talking about making music, working on a record yourself? Yeah.
I am. I'm about 3/4 of the way through my second album at the moment, which I'm producing entirely on my own. it's been a huge epic battle, but it's been amazing to have that kind of autonomy and just the space and time to make an album. It's been brilliant.
Fantastic. Well, listen, thank you for taking time out and joining us here. I'll let you run back to your keyboards now as we prepare ourselves for some live music here at the Southbank Centre, where it is, as you might be able to tell, it's quite a breezy day out here. It's a lovely sunny afternoon, but there is a bit of a wind getting up. Anyway, live music coming up next, then we'll hand you over to the Anchoress.
said it, and I know that you regret because around comes around, and when you went back upon revenge, you better dig 2 graves, my friend. Revenge is a dish of gold because around comes around, around, you know you're gonna get what goes around, around, you know you're gonna get what goes around, comes around, and you know you're gonna get what goes around, comes around. So you better watch your back, 'cause every scene that you saw turned black. Never thought you'd stoop so low, and now everyone will know. Oh my God, I never would believe it. Oh my God, I say you didn't mean it. Oh my God, I never would believe it. Oh my God, I say you didn't mean it. Around, around, you know you're gonna get what goes around, around, you know you're gonna get what goes around, comes around, and you know you're gonna get what goes around, comes around. So you better watch your back, 'cause every scene that you saw turned black. Never thought we'd stoop so low, and now everyone will know. Oh no, I think I said it, and you knew that they would spread it pretty soon. Yeah, you'll regret because around comes around. And I know all about revenge, and you will get your sticky end. I heard you practiced on my friends you got around. Now you're gonna get what goes around, around. Now you're gonna get what goes around, around. You know you're gonna get what goes around, comes around, and you know you're gonna get what goes around, comes around. So you better watch your back, 'cause every scene that you saw turned black. Never thought you would stoop so low, and now everyone will know. When you fall in the gutter, I won't shed a tear, 'cause you've had it coming for years. It's too long ago, shouldn't care anymore. There's something that you need to hear. For every action in this world is an equal and opposite action to be considered. No, it's nothing to do with your karma, my friend. No, it's just scientific, my dear. Oh my God, I never would believe that. Oh my God, I say you didn't mean it. Oh my God, I never would believe that. Oh my God, I say you didn't mean it. Around, around, you know you're gonna get what goes around, around. You know you're gonna get what goes around, comes around, and you know you're gonna get what goes around, comes around. So you better watch your back, 'cause every scene that you saw turned black. Never thought you would stoop so low, and now everyone will know.
Oh yes, it's the Anchoress playing live for us in front of a tiny little audience here on the balcony on the 5th floor at the Southbank Centre, which is where we're broadcasting from this afternoon, in the warm-up to Meltdown, which kicks off this evening, and the Anchoress playing next, what is it, Tuesday night? Is it Tuesday? It is Tuesday. Tuesday night next week with the Manic Street Preachers. You heard Long Year, followed by What Goes Around, and it'll be the Cockney Rejects after this.
On your digital radio.
This is Robert Smith. When I was asked to curate Meltdown this year, I was very honoured to be asked to join a list of seriously great artists who've done it in the past.
The idea behind Meltdown is that an artist curates a festival and put a sort of portrait of themselves.
Meltdown Festival on BBC Radio 6 Music.
They say to you at the start, there you go, turn it into your festival. There's no kind of rules about it. It's like a dream come true. It means I get to pick all my favourite bands in the whole world. get them all together in one place, and I get to see them all. I wanted the Meltdown Festival. It was a powerful live event.
Robert Smith's Meltdown Festival.
Let me guide you through the artists that are taking part. Tonight at 7.
On your digital radio.
6 Music.
Slightly surprised choice of Morrissey when he curated the Meltdown Festival back in 2004. The Cockney Rejects and the debut single Flares and Slippers. And yes, thank you very much once again to the Anchoress for joining us to play live. I guess in the next half an hour or so, fingers crossed, we'll be talking to tonight's headliners, Psychedelic Furs, coming up shortly. But next, this is Soulwax and this is Essential 4. Live dates next month, including the Blue Dot Festival on the 8th of July at Soulwax. It's from their new album Essential Soulwax, and that was Essential 4.
This is BBC Radio 6 Music.
6 Music. 6 Music. 6 Music.
On 6 Music, Pictures of You, voted top of a poll of Cure fans' favourite Cure tracks conducted by Rolling Stone magazine in 2016 when the Cure were on tour. We have another Cure track to come later on the programme, but this one, probably one you won't have heard before, at least not this version. We have a new Cure remix, which is going to feature on the tarted up 3-CD box set reissue of their Mixed Up record, Mixed Up 2018, something from that in the final hour of the programme. And then, of course, tonight at 7 o'clock, Robert Smith sits in for Iggy Pop with his guide to Meltdown 2018, which he's curated. In fact, one of the bands he's chosen to play, in fact, playing tonight, we're going to be talking to the Psychedelic Furs very shortly. But next, this nutty groove from the Goon Sax. That's by the Goon Sax. That's called She Knows. By the way, despite the fact that we're not in our natural environment this afternoon, all Friday correspondents still, of course, welcome, including your weekend plans and your worst weekends if you are in the middle of revision, if you've got to work all weekend, if you've got a double shift, if you've been landed with anything, a particularly onerous task which you didn't have to do this weekend. Lamacq.6music@bbc.co.uk, and we are also going to be winding up our week with a special Meltdown-themed Friday free-for-all at 6:30. So music by artists who've played the Meltdown Festival or curated the Meltdown Festival. All comers, please. Any suggestions, any requests, our text number 64046. And here's a track from this.
Album of the Day.
6 Music album of the day today, Child Queen by Kadhja Bonet, and this from it is called Wings. Los Angeles-based multi-instrumentalist, singer, songwriter Kadhja Bonet. From the 6 Music album of the day, Child Queen, that was called Wings.
Part of the BBC's Hear Her season.
6 Music. 6 Music.
6 Music.
Psychedelic Furs from 1988, All That Money Wants. The Furs playing tonight, the opening night of this year's Meltdown Festival. Richard Butler, you won't remember this. 30 years ago, virtually to the week, I interviewed you for The Enemy, for a cover story for The Enemy. How about that?
Your name.
I've even got I'll show you this later on, but I've even got the issue still. Here you go. So,
oh, good Lord.
Yeah, that's 6th of August, 1988. Do you know my favourite quote of yours from the interview?
Oh, good Lord, was I sober?
Yes, you absolutely were. It was I was really nervous, because obviously I've been a Furs fan, and your record, particularly Talk, and Forever Now, had got me through my A-levels and then my first slightly darkish year at college. And so this was going to be my first cover story for the NME. And I walked into a room, I think it was at your management company's office, and there was just a table with 2 chairs either side of the table and 2 cups of tea put out, and they just ushered me in, and I just waited there until you arrived, constantly checking my little tape recorder to make sure it worked. You walked in, the absolute epitome of cool, sat down, shook my hand, and then put your feet on the table. It was absolutely brilliant. But there's a quote in it, because we were talking about, there were various bands at the time who were sort of slightly, those sort of slightly pompous, air punching type of bands, and you said, and I looked this up, you said, I hate all that rallying around sound. I mean, rally around what? Who are they rallying around? Why are they rallying around it? What do they want to change? They don't know. I wondered if
rebel without a cause.
Yeah, I wonder if now. Do you still feel slightly aggrieved when you hear music which has something which, it doesn't maybe have the necessary level of honesty about it?
I to be quite honest, I don't give it the time these days.
Do you not? No.
No.
Yeah. But one of the things, I suppose certainly the Furs then, rather than rallying around something, always felt like you were railing against something, maybe.
Yeah. What exactly that was either, I don't know, but it's just the status quo, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's kind of a young man's job, isn't it? I think to rail against what's been before, and it seemed like I suppose with punk rock coming along, it turned everything upside down, and it was an opportunity to start over, I suppose.
Did you have many musical allies at the time? Were there bands around that you thought, yes, we'd sort of fit with them? Because you never chased a scene, obviously, but were there bands around that you quite liked or admired?
Oh yeah, well, the Cure were around then. The Clash, Public Image, all those bands.
When did you first meet the Cure?
Oh, good Lord. We never really hung out in the same places. I don't think... I think I've probably met them all at different points, but, I've met Robert a couple of times at backstages, it seems. We've never really spent a great deal of time hanging out.
No. But it seemed like you shared a certain way of approaching lyrics, I think, in a way. Even in this old NME piece, I'd actually pull out Robert Smith as one of the other people who can write in a way which conveys emotion, but with a certain sense of ambiguity at times.
Well, we don't want to give too much away.
No, not at all. But I mean, as a writer then, I suppose, I mean, what were you trying to convey, I guess, to an audience? Because you were writing sort of about yourself and sort of about the world.
Just feelings, just trying to get feelings across. And I suppose the idea with any art form, or one of the aims of any art form, is to have people feel the same as you and convey a feeling as directly as possible. And I suppose that's all I was trying to do. That's all I still try to do.
But writing about, some people write more overtly about emotions, I think. You write about them maybe in a slightly less tangible way, do you think?
Yeah, well, I don't think anybody really wants to hear about my personal life. I'd be incredibly egotistical if I thought somebody wanted to know about my personal life.
What's it like now playing the songs, given that, some of them lyrically do still fit, though, very well into the landscape of today, don't they?
Well, President Gas is fitting particularly well in America.
That's the one that sticks out, isn't it? Yeah. Absolutely does. You were ahead of your time there. But a lot of cases it feels like, there's similar waves of emotions through your songs. That feels like people could be having them today.
Oh, yeah. it wasn't nailed to a time specifically. And I think actually, you know, the first, especially the first two records, were recorded in such a way that it wasn't really of the 80s as such. It was very... It was just like a band with guitars really playing, and it wasn't any of those really corny sounds, which we did experiment with a little later on, but not on the first two or three.
But it was a big claustrophobic sound, though, wasn't it? That was the thing. That was always the thing about the Furs. It felt like you were being wrapped in this big sound.
Yeah, it was quite a big band for the time, and it was everybody wanting to be heard, and you know, and really enjoying the racket that we could make, you know.
And did it surprise you to come back and do all this all over, you know, to start touring the world again? Did you ever think, well, we're doing that, and you know, we'll go back around and do that, and then obviously the appetite for your band, which is still there?
Yeah. Well, we took a break for a while, in which time I made a solo record, and I didn't know whether we were going to do. I never. Officially said that the Psychedelic Furs were splitting up. It was never that dramatic, you know. So we just were taking a break. I thought I didn't know how long the break was going to be, but it was great getting back together, and it's been great, you know, touring around again.
How on earth did you choose the set list with quite a lot to choose from? I don't know where it starts and where it heads, but you've got a lot to sort of fit in.
Well, it's nice to be able to vary it, you know, around. So. You know, some songs, it's a very odd position that any band that's been playing for a while gets into. If you don't play certain songs, somebody in the audience or maybe a bunch of them are going to be quite upset. So you feel this weird sort of pressure to play those songs.
Yeah.
So in a way, you can't avoid but become something of a jukebox.
Yeah.
Luckily, you know, there's plenty of songs that you can pick from besides those ones, and also luckily, you know, we enjoy playing those songs.
Yeah.
You know, maybe partly from having taken a long break.
I'm just wondering when the next letter of complaint's going to come in, saying, "Dear Mr. Butler, you did not play Into You Like a Train." Yeah. Have you? I mean, reacquainting yourself with some of the songs. Do you feel more of a fondness for certain songs now than you did? Are there any songs that you've gone to and thought, actually, I think we underrated that song when you've come back to them, or is it the other way and you think, no, we definitely overrated that one?
Yeah, to a degree, I suppose, but I wouldn't tell you what ones those are.
Right. But it's nothing that you've sort of fallen in love with later on down the line?
A lot of them. You know, I love singing. And so, you know, if the mix is good on stage and, you know, the band is sounding great and the vocals are sounding good, I just love playing the songs, and I kind of get lost. I just get lost in that emotion and that feeling, you know. So, you know, it still has that. I'm not quite a parrot yet.
Playing tonight here at Meltdown. Liverpool tomorrow, I think.
Yes.
Liverpool tomorrow, and then North America, is it?
Yes. Well, we have about 2 or 3 weeks off, and actually I have a painting show in that time that we're off, and then North America, and then we're coming back around Europe in the fall.
Fantastic. We may hopefully see you around then. This, fortunately, we had queued up because I thought it might come up in conversation to take us up to the news, the Psychedelic Furs, and this is President Gas. Talking to the earlier in the week about how several of Matt Johnson's songs are still very relevant today, some 30 years on down the line, and so is that, I think. From the Psychedelic Furs 1982 album Forever Now, that was President Gas. The Furs play the Meltdown Festival this evening. Right, we have some live busking action in the next half an hour of the programme. Before that, we're back with David Bowie after this news.
BBC Radio.
6 Music.
6
Music.
6 Music.
6 Music.
Sick of playing guitar.
David Bowie curated the 10th Meltdown Festival back in 2002. That was Ziggy's Stardust, and here we are. Yes, if you're just tuning in, live at live at the Southbank, on the Southbank at the Royal Festival Hall. Very nice, actually. Out on one of the balconies on the 5th floor. The sun's out. It's less breezy than it was, less blustery than it was earlier on. But we're here till 7 o'clock, and straight after us, you can hear Robert Smith from The Cure, this year's curator, sitting in for Iggy Pop. Before that, though, before we leave you, in about an hour's time, we'll have a special Friday free-for-all with a Meltdown theme. So any requests, anyone who's played or curated Meltdown over its 25-year history, 64046, your Meltdown memories. Kevin Howell on Twitter. I remember attending Meltdown as far back as 2000 when Radiohead played, and experiencing a sort of quite an emotional walk back across the Thames with How to Disappear still ringing in my ears, and feeling rum on Twitter. I remember seeing Forest of No Return, a night of Disney songs, for Jarvis Cocker's Meltdown in 2007. It started with the man himself singing I Want to Be Like You, then Fun Turns from Nick Cave, Grace Jones and Pete Doherty charming everyone with a Mary Poppins cover. A bizarre but inspired night out. Here's someone else who's playing at this year's festival, someone you may not have heard of so far. One of we mentioned that there's busking going on in the afternoons here. Nuala is one of the buskers who's kindly agreed to come and join us, and obviously I didn't know about this till last week. There's performances every afternoon from 1 o'clock, all chosen by Robert Smith, which is obviously an accolade in itself. It's not your first accolade, though, is it? Because last year you won a competition last year with at least 2 amazing prizes.
Yeah, it was the live and local competition, and it was a Green King Stadium kind of thing. They had loads of competitions going on to try and basically win. The prize was $5,000, which was pretty damn good.
That's nice in itself, but
and I supported Razorlight because they were in the final, which was pretty cool.
I also noted though, wasn't there talk of you being able to win your weight in beer?
Yeah, I think I won more than my weight in beer, which was quite cool. I got about 25 crates or something.
Really?
I've still not got through it all, so yeah, that's pretty cool.
When did you start? When did you start playing guitar? Did you study music when you were younger?
No, not when I was younger. I've always been able to sing. It's always been like a passion of mine. And I realised kind of from an early age that I needed to do more than just do that. Because to get any respect in the industry, you need to write your own songs, really. So I picked up the guitar about 10, 11, and I just used it to start writing songs, really. Yeah.
And you studied popular music at university?
I did, yeah. We were speaking about that. And and then I graduated. I worked at Sainsbury's for about a year, which was soul destroying, as you can imagine. I was like, I just want to do music. And then I quit that. And for the past 2 years, I've just been, busking, doing gigs, session work, all that.
And have you ever got to the point where you've had a regular busking pitch somewhere where you can go on quite a regular basis?
Well, not legally, but I don't have a licence or anything, but it's been all right so far. Right. But I tend to go at South Kensington quite a lot, so anyone that goes around there will probably see me quite often. That's my kind of spot. But I'm annoying the flower people at the minute. They keep telling me to turn it down.
Turn it down, not turn it off. That's
no.
Not just.
They can't hear their customers apparently.
Not just sling your hook though. That's
no,
at least,
thankfully.
That's something. And what do you do in a busking set? Because you've obviously started branching out into doing proper gigs and things now. But in a busking set, what would you do?
I tend to do my own stuff as well as covers. I tend to kind of bring people in with the cover, usually like Zombie by the Cranberries. That's a really good one, that goes down well. Right. And then once I've got a bit of a crowd, I throw in my own stuff. And a lot of the time people can't tell the difference, which is really nice.
Oh,
and the people that really like it will stay. So.
And is there? Do you get a couple of bob? Is there the odd 50p in the hat at the end of the day?
Oh yeah, for sure. One guy gave me £100 once.
No.
Yeah, man. I didn't even know. I thought he'd put a £5 in, and he cheekily slipped in a load more notes, and I didn't realise until later on. I was like, what a legend. And then I saw him on a night out a few weeks later, and he was like, we hung out together the whole night. It was great.
100 is
I know.
That's not what's going to happen every day, though. Is it? What would you usually come away with? Just so I know, just for when this all goes, to pot.
Okay, so like on an average day, maybe about £150 in a couple of hours or something, but it really varies.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, noted. We wish you all the best. You're on, where is it? It's the Riverside Terrace tomorrow.
6:15.
6:15. There you go. If you happen to be in the area. But live this evening on Six Music, give us a song. What are you going to do?
This is called Fight for My Case. This is one of my tunes, and it's one that I'll soon be releasing. So I hope you like it.
It's Nuala on Six Music. Here you are.
Why are you trying to put it to bed? I'm not nearly done yet. You showed that side again, but you blamed it on me instead. And it's so wrong, but you don't even know it. And as we go deeper, the truth is showing face. And as your words get weaker, your heart picks up its pace. Oh, 'cause I don't need to fight for my case. Oh, I don't need to fight for my case. How did you think it was okay? Now you got something you can't shake. I'm getting good at this, finding out all the things I missed, and there's a reason why you're looking pale. And as we go deeper, the truth is showing face. And as your words get weaker, your heart picks up its pace. Oh, 'cause I don't need to fight for my case. Oh, I don't need to fight for my case. Why don't you let it go? Oh, it's not worth fighting for. Truth is showing face, and as your words get weaker, your heart picks up its pace. Oh, 'cause I don't need to fight for my case. Oh no, I don't need to fight for my case.
Yeah, I reckon we can.
Thank you.
Well, there's some applause. I mean, there's no actual physical cash I noticed being thrown around into a hat anywhere. But
Can I tell people my social media?
I was just about to ask. Well, I was going to say, as well as doing this, you recently played. You were saying with Newton Faulkner.
Yeah, I supported Newton Faulkner on his London dates. That was cool.
And have you got any other gigs, other proper gigs coming up apart from the busking one here?
Well, I've got the one tomorrow.
Yeah.
I've got some festivals. I'm playing Wonderfields Festival, Whirly Fair. I'm playing. Cornbury Festival. I can't think off the top of my head because it's all on my calendar and I live by the day.
Right. But I'm sure you'll find find everything you need though on the website. What's the website?
My website is Nuala's Music, so it's Nualas Music, and I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. Don't do Twitter. So you can find me. I've got videos. I play loads of gigs around London. So yeah, give me a like. It's good karma, if anything. So.
Excellent. Thank you for joining us. That was Nuala playing live for us here at the Southbank. That was called Fight for My Case.
On BBC Radio 6 Music.
The miracle of modern creation.
So
Asian Dub Foundation. Do you know the first Meltdown gig? I was struggling to remember when I first started coming to any of these Meltdown shows, but as far as I can remember, the Asian Dub Foundation gig as part of David Bowie's Meltdown in 2002, I think was the first Meltdown show I ever attended. Asian Dub Foundation, that was buzzing. And back to this year, another artist chosen by Robert Smith to play this year's Meltdown. We caught up with the Scottish singer-songwriter Catherine Joseph, who will be performing here as part of the Meltdown Festival. June the 21st she's on. Here she talks about signing to Rock Action Records, supporting Mogwai, and her own new record.
Hi, my name is Catherine Joseph, and I'm a singer-songwriter born in Inverness, grew up near Aberdeen, and now live in Glasgow. And I'm performing at Robert Smith's Meltdown this year. In 2015, I released my first record, Bones You've Thrown Me and Blood I've Spilled, with Marcus Mackay, who plays on it and recorded it and produced it. And the same year, we won Scottish Album of the Year with that. That meant that I then got to do music for the first time as a job at the age of 40, which was very nice. Last year, I worked with James Graham from the Twilight Sad and Marcus again on a project called Outlines, a record released by Rock Action Records. Rock Action is the record label run by Mogwai, who we got to support as Outlines, and I am getting to support them as Catherine Joseph at the Meltdown Festival this year. And they're also releasing my next record, which is out in August. Mogwai are amazing. They are not only some of the most beautiful noisemakers I have ever heard, they are also some of the nicest humans I've ever met. So I feel very, very lucky to be involved with them in any way. Because of working with James had passed our record on to Robert Smith, and so I think that's the only way that he would have ever heard of us, I think. So yeah, I feel very lucky to have had that connection to him. I think he emailed everyone to ask if we would play, and yeah, getting an email when I was on a train from Robert Smith was one of the loveliest and strangest moments of my life. It just feels really, really special, and I'm a total honour to be asked. I love The Cure. I can't imagine anyone not loving The Cure. They're just one of those bands that everyone has a point in their life where they've been affected by them in some way. On the night, Marcus and I are playing our usual setup, which is me on 6-octave Ship's piano, and Marcus plays an assortment of percussion and makes beautiful noise with a Moog. And so just the thought of being in that beautiful hall and then getting to listen to Mogwai afterwards, again, it's going to be one of the most beautiful nights for me. My new record is called From When I Wait the Wantas. I think it's stronger than my last record. I think the noise of it is stronger, and it's mostly about a sort of circle shape of surviving things like missing or heartbreak or loss. It's a record that starts off with me not feeling very well, but feeling much better by the end of it.
From when I wake, the want is under my eyes, and I draw. And all the doubt.
That's my Moon Duo, and a track called Creeping, Moon Duo, who play Meltdown on Wednesday. And before that, Catherine Joseph and the title track from her new album, Catherine Joseph and From When I Awake, The Want Is.
This is BBC Radio 6 Music.
BBC Radio 6 Music.
6 Music.
So it is the Rolling Stones, as we heard earlier on in the programme. Robert Smith asked the Stones. They were on Robert Smith's hit list for Meltdown were the Stones, but they politely turned him down. But it is the Stones and She's So Cold to start the final hour of our programme. Evening, everyone, if you're just tuning in. It is Drive Time live at the Royal Festival Hall. That's the opening of Meltdown 2018. And we will bring you a mini Friday free-for-all in about half an hour's time, featuring some of the great and the good from past Meltdown festivals. Your requests, anyone you might have seen at Meltdown or anyone who booked the lineup, 64046. Before that, we will be hearing from Mr. Smith himself, talking about his role as curator of this year's events. But first, well, this is one of the newer bands, the sort of newer artists, and there's quite a few of them this year who are appearing at Meltdown. But this is someone I've played before in our Six Music Recommends show. Hailing from Wrexham, this is Kid Smoke.
This is Steve Lamacq.
Yeah, that's by a band called Gillian Orphan, and that was called Shatter. And the first time I saw The Cure, I think I may have told this story before, but the first time I saw The Cure abroad, it was in this huge amphitheatre in the south of France, and I'd gone there for the New Musical Express, and we arrived backstage because I was interviewing that band Gillian Orphan. That's why I've ostensibly gone there, I think. And they were very nice people, actually, and interviewed them in the afternoon. Then you walk out to the front of the stage, and it was early evening just before The Cure were going on. The sun was beginning to set, and looking out actually from the stage at the assembled Cure audience, as I say, in this massive amphitheatre, but right down at the front, and I swear this is true, in the first, and it must have been at least the first 9 rows, the entire front 9 rows of the audience were all dressed as Robert Smith. They wore the same clothes, the same makeup, and the same red lipstick. It honestly was. It must be for Robert Smith. It must be like a scene from Being John Malkovich. It was just amazing. Anyway, Robert Smith will be here at 7 o'clock with, well, basically a programme sitting in for Iggy Pop, talking about his curation duties here at the Meltdown Festival. Before even that, actually, we've got a couple of things coming up. We've got a brand new Robert Smith Cure remix, which we'll play you in a moment. But first, well, here is a taste of what to expect from 7 o'clock this evening with Robert Smith here talking about, well, taking on the task of curating this year's Meltdown Festival.
The best thing, I think, for me personally about curating the Meltdown Festival has been the fact that it's forced me to listen to a lot of new music that I probably wouldn't otherwise have bothered with. It was kind of easy figuring out who my top bands were to try, to play the Royal Festival Hall. But once I got everyone on board in the bigger venues, looking at support acts and also the bands that were going to be playing at the Purcell Room, the smaller bands, obviously I was pushed in the direction of like newer bands, younger bands, and once I started listening, I must have listened to like 200 or 300 bands that like most of them I'd never even heard of. So it's actually a real eye-opener and a fantastic couple of months, I must say. I mean, I've listened to more new music in the last 6 months than I've in the last 16 years, I think. So it's enthused me. There's something about listening to young bands playing on their second album, sort of playing their hearts out, which has really switched the light on inside my head again. I think it's been off for a while. So on a personal level, that's been certainly the best thing for me. I think there are a number of kind of common threads that run through the Meltdown artists. I think that they're all very emotional. The bands that have got singers, and even the bands without singers, of which there are quite a number, they sort of wear their hearts on their sleeves. They're very emotional acts. I don't really go for kind of cold music. I'm not really big on sort of electro beat and so forth, and clever music. It leaves me very cold. So Although, you know, there's like Chiasmos and Eat Static and Vessels and that are very much more kind of electronic, but that's for a particular venue, for a particular function, and I actually think that all three bands are fabulous at what they do. The thread that runs through it is emotion, and also that they're all the ones I've seen anyway are fantastic live performers. And it's often the case that you can fall in love with a band and listen to their music, and you go and see them and you think, hey, is that really the same band? Sometimes it's actually the reverse is true as well. Obviously you can hear something that's pretty mediocre, you go and see the band and suddenly it all makes sense, and you think, wow, you know, why can't they do that on record? It's rare, and it's a great thing when a band can do both. They're all able to do both, create really interesting music that you can listen to and be absorbed by, but also perform it in a way that it was really kind of like entrancing. And it's that I wanted a Meltdown Festival that was actually essentially like a very powerful live event rather than just a cerebral kind of event. So I wanted people who really cared and loved what they did. On the letter that I sent out to all the Meltdown artists when I was inviting them to play, I said you can do whatever you want. It doesn't have to be a regular show. Southbank will supply like choirs, orchestras, whatever you want. So if you like to do something special, go ahead. If you just want to enjoy the actual space and do a show, you know, whatever you want. And Alcest came back and said we'd like to play I thought more bands would want to play a full album actually, but they came out and said we want to do our album, which I think is great. I came to see Bowie play at the Meltdown Festival in 2002. That was his Meltdown, and he did the Low album as the first part of his show in its entirety, and it's one of the best things I've ever seen. It's absolutely fantastic, and it gave me the idea to go when we then did a thing called Trilogy, which was 3 Cure albums in a night, and that was the night I got there. I thought, oh, this is so good. It's the first time I'd ever seen anyone do it, and it was just so powerful. And then he had a break, and then he came back and did a load of other stuff. So I'm glad that someone's doing a full album, and I think actually with the band like Alcest, their strength lies in an album's worth of stuff. The weird thing was, once I've got the Royal Festival Hall ones in place, I realised that I need to get a balance. So I kind of deviated a little bit. My original plan was I was thinking, oh, it's just like this is my playlist, this is like my favourite bands. And then I thought, it's got to be more attractive to more people. And so I kind of like pushed it out a bit, which is why I sort of went and looked at Alcest and Notwist, who wouldn't be on my playlist. But I thought I better sort of seek out other bands to see if there's other stuff out there, because I thought if I just have like every band on there everybody knows everything about, it's just like look at all my mates kind of festival, which is a bit stupid. Getting the Psychedelic Furs to be part of Meltdown, they're the first band on at Meltdown, meant a lot to me. I really had to get them because I think they're the most underrated band from that decade, to be honest. I think they have a fantastic collection of songs. First 4 albums are genius. Hopefully this will see a resurgence for Richard and his mob. Meltdown's a very special kind of festival because it's, as far as I know, it's about the only one certainly that stretches on for as long as it does in one particular place, although there's 3 or 4 venues in the Southbank Centre. In fact, it's curated by a single person, and you're sort of encouraged really just to make it how you want it. You know, it's like they say to you at the start, here you go, just turn it into your festival. There's no kind of rules about it. I imagined there would be certain constraints. There were none. Yeah, it's genuinely artistic, and in that sense it's very, very unique.
one of a number of new mixes which Robert Smith himself has done for the new version of The Cure's Mixed Up selection of remixes. You might remember the original album came out, well, it must be back at the start of the 90s, I guess now. But this new version, it's a 3 CD box set now. It's The Cure Mixed Up and Mixed Up Extras 2018. 3 CDs featuring 16 brand new mixes by Robert Smith, of which that is one. That's The Cure and the Hello Goodbye mix of A Night Like This. And here's another of the, well, Robert just mentioned new bands seeking out some newish music, or music you might not have heard of for this year's Meltdown. Here's one such band, I think, because they were new to me, I'm embarrassed to admit. This is by Joy Cuts. They perform at the Purcell Rooms, I think, with support from Indian Queens, and that's tonight, I think, as part of the opening of Meltdown 2018. This is Joy Cut, and this from an album called Pieces of Us Were Left on the Ground. This is called Wireless. This is by Joy Cuts. To say they play tonight at Meltdown. That's from Pieces of Us Were Left on the Ground, their album from 2013, Joy Cut and Wireless. And we'll be back with a special Meltdown themed Friday Free For All after this news.
6 Music. BBC Radio 6 Music.
6 Music.
This is the Friday Free For All.
6 Music.
So throwing music to start this week's Friday Free For All, a slightly edited down Friday Free For All this week, but we are here for the final half an hour at the Royal Festival Hall for Meltdown, which kicks off this evening with the Psychedelic Furs. Robert Smith talks you through a load of the artists who are playing as part of Meltdown from 7 o'clock this evening, but it's a Meltdown related Friday Free For All. So Mark in Bolton wanted that. Hi Lamo, my request for the Friday Free For All, counting backwards by throwing music. As you know, the band was fronted by Kristen Hirsch and Tanya Donnelly, with the former featuring at Meltdown. I thought they were a great band, with this song being one of their best. Kristen Hirsch plays Meltdown Festival on Thursday the 21st of June, and here's someone who's playing tonight, in fact supporting the Psychedelic Furs. This is from the Church for Paula in D-side. This is Under the Milky Way.
Sometimes when this place gets kind of empty, sound of their breath fades with the light. I think about the loveless fascination.
Paula in D-side, who says, Steve, why has no one mentioned the Church playing the Meltdown Festival? Robert Smith's flown them over from Australia especially for it. Come on, make them feel wanted over here. Looking forward to a whole weekend crusade with the Church. The Church support the Psychedelic Furs tonight. That's Under the Milky Way from the Church, and this for Bradley Martin in St Albans. It's My Bloody Valentine, known as Shallow. Bradley Martin in St Albans, who says, Steve, wish me luck. I've got a front row seat at next week's My Bloody Valentine gig at Meltdown. Needless to say, I'll be taking ear protection. However, My Bloody Valentine's Cord from Hell has been known to also melt internal organs, so if I don't make it out of that gig, do please pray for what's left of my soul. My Bloody Valentine for you, Bradley. That was Only Shallow. And this is for Alan, who says, as chosen by Nick Cave when he curated Meltdown in 1999, I'd love to hear 96 Tears by Question Mark and the Mysterians.
Too many teardrops for one heart to be crying. 96 tears, yeah, come on now. 96 tears.
Yes, Question Mark and the Mysterians. That's then for Alan. Thank you for getting in touch. That was 96 Tears and something by I Am Clute after this.
On your digital radio.
This is Robert Smith. When I was asked to curate Meltdown this year, I was very honoured to be asked to join a list of seriously great artists who've done it in the past.
The idea behind Meltdown is that an artist curates a festival and put a sort of portrait of themselves.
Meltdown Festival on BBC Radio 6 Music.
They say to you at the start, here you go, turn it into your festival. There's no kind of rules about it.
It's like a dream come true. It means I get to pick all my favourite bands in the whole world, get them all together in one place, and I get to see them all. I wanted the Meltdown Festival that was a powerful live event.
Robert Smith's Meltdown Festival.
Let me guide you through the artists that are taking part. Tonight at 7.
On your digital radio. 6 Music.
Above there are no stars tonight, just northern sky, reflected light upon your face. Some people think styles rule our lives.
I Am Clute, we're playing that for Bong Brummy, who says, could we please have Northern Skies by I Am Clute for the free-for-all tonight, if only to reward the dedication of my mate, known as Finkel Pepper, for getting to their Meltdown performance of Sky at Night in full, the one they did with the orchestra at Meltdown a couple of years ago. Certainly you can, and David Bonney, you can have this as well. This is Young Marble Giants. David Bonney, who saw Young Marble Giants at David Byrne's Meltdown a few years ago, and is coming to see Low play as part of this year's Meltdown. For David Bonney, Young Marble Giants, Nature, it's N-I-T-A. We're just debating what it might mean. Nature intended the abstract, I think is possibly what it is. That's it from us. Thank you very much for listening to our Meltdown show today. Stand by for curator Robert Smith from The Cure, standing in for Iggy Pop with 2 hours of music from some of the artists he's picked to play at this year's Meltdown Festival. It's Robert Smith next. We'll be back on Monday with the first round draw of our Footy Anthems World Cup, with Loyal Kana helping us out with that. In the meantime, have a good weekend, everybody. Look after yourselves, and we'll see you at 4 on Monday. Take care. Cheerio.
Can't stop, keep rocking, kid.
This is
BBC Radio 6 Music.
6 Music.